Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Jordan Claire Robbins about Escape the Field, which is going to be available May 6th. Thank you so much for doing this. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
It's so much fun. This movie is out of control. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I feel like you have worked on projects that are very like high paced and have a lot kind of going on. Umbrella Academy, cough, cough. You know what I mean? Were you hoping you were going to be able to work in those kind of intense kind of atmospheres, chaotic worlds a little bit, or did it kind of just happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun because Umbrella Academy, I'm very much contained, by nature, my character is very contained to the house. So she's not really getting out for coffee with friends or anything. So it was really fun. It was a total change of everything, energy, and it was a really contained cast. It was very exciting just to be able to be in the corn, like it was, once we got there, it just made it all come alive. And there were a couple of days where Emerson, our director, he's so passionate. He'd be like, let's just stick around. We'll have you run and we'll do a crane shot and you'll run into the corn. And, and I would get lost. And I'm like, oh, this is really scary. Like you didn't have to act very much because it was a lot.
The thriller horror genre keeps just getting bigger and bigger. The stakes keep getting bigger. It's just an amazing genre right now. How is it to work on a film at a time where the genre is just exploding right now with popularity?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now more than ever, we want to escape. We want to be thrown into a totally different world. A lot of us.
You literally have to escape a field.
Yeah, literally have to escape a field. Yeah, like we want to all escape our homes during the quarantine, and I was escaping a field. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, there was some, it was a totally different experience having COVID be an element and getting jabbed up the nose multiple times a week, and it was a lot of fun. I liked to. This was my first kind of real action-packed, physical type of role, which is something I was really excited for.
I feel like, and a lot of films are doing this, and I do feel like it's kind of just, like if you talk to the directors or writers about this, I feel like it just kind of happens, like no one's kind of sorting out. Like there's a lot of genre bending happening in this movie. There's a lot of like the action, thriller. Do you notice that when you're reading the script?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's horror, thriller type of films often have the tendency to not be so much about the characters or the relationships and more about the jump scares or the action or the CGI. Like there's a lot going on for these types of films, and what really drew me to this one was how relationship and character driven it was. It's more about like, how do these human beings adapt to being in a terrifying situation where they have to trust complete strangers? That
is so great that you said that, because my next question is one of the things I love the most about the film is, okay, so here's the thing, Jordan. So in horror movies, there's a lot of the kind of traditional tropes of scaring people, the gore, the jump scares, you know that, right?
Yeah.
This one, I mean, people are scary, right? So there are a lot of characters in this film specifically say a lot of things to certain people, and they're kind of like, wait a second, like, why did you say that? Like, what is going on? Like, what the hell is about to happen? You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you think about kind of that dynamic of it, where like just a conversation between two people could be like terrifying? Because that's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue, for myself, at least when I watch, horror films, I'm way more disturbed and frightened of human beings who are unafraid to hurt other people. I mean, you just don't know. People are sometimes married for 20 years and then they realize that their husband's a serial killer or something. Like that's, my psychology background, that's really fascinating to me, that you don't really know. You don't really know someone, especially a complete stranger. You just don't know what you're dealing with or whether to trust what they're showing you. So that is a pretty terrifying aspect of the fact that these people have no choice. They have no choice but to work together, and they don't know if that's the right move or not.
And some of them are some of them are cluing in more than others that they got to be a unit. And it's frustrating. I don't want to get into spoilers, but some characters just kind of like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's interesting to see these different personalities and how they handle the situation differently and how they clash.
How they irritate the audience member.
Yeah. Like, why are you doing this?
Exactly,
I know. That's what makes it fun.
Jordan Claire Robbins, you specifically, do you enjoy watching horror movies?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I have to be honest with myself about the time and place for them. I think it's a fun group activity. It's not something I would do on my own. I have such an active imagination and my dreams are so vivid that I wake up every day and feel like I've lived another life. So like my brain grabs deep. Last night I was like in Euphoria land, Harry Styles was there. Like there's a lot going on. So like, I have to be really conscious of what I'm consuming because it will make its way into my subconscious.
Because I'm a big fan of like, getting back to what you said too, is like my favorite go-to horror movies is like The Dinner Party Gone Wrong, and there's actually like a lot of those movies out there where
I love great. The psychology
I
of
love
like
those
of like, oh, what is this person capable of?
Yes, there's a lot. One of my favorites of all time is called The Invitation, and
I love The Invitation. Love The Invitation.
It might be my favorite horror movie of all time, because someone asked me that recently and was like, what's your favorite horror movie of all time? And I had a hard time answering that. The scariest movie I've ever seen, because they're two different things, right? Like best and scariest. The Strangers with Liv Tyler and Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, we actually rewatched that as a cast. Like when we were shooting Escape the Field, we had a movie night and we had popcorn, we ordered pizza, and we watched The Strangers, and I was like, I forgot how scary this is.
It's terrifying. Like I had a hard time, and it's so crazy to me how amazing the genre is. I love the idea too of the different kind of dynamics and different things, and now they are like kind of like this movie that has the action aspect of it. You feel like you're in a full-on escape room almost. You know what I mean? You're in like a cornfield. You're like, what is happening? You know what I mean? They're becoming more complex, is what I'm saying.
For sure. And I think that's what makes them so fun to watch, because it's like you said, you're yelling at the screen because you wouldn't have handled it the way that character did, or you don't think they should trust that person, or they should have gone back to, and escape rooms are fun for that reason. You have to work as a team. Okay. And sometimes there are clashes.
I will say the people that I've seen me at escape rooms are probably watching this and being like, this is our guy, basically. There's always that one guy who gets freaked out, and then they target him the whole time. I was that guy. There was one escape room where, and it was, they had the masks of the strangers. That was the worst part about it. Yes. So listen to this.
Okay, come on.
It was like it was a house and there was a murder and the whole family got murdered. You're discovering the murder. That was like the premise of the escape room.
That's creepy.
So you're in a house. It gets worse. So then there's a thing where the locket of the daughter of the family is in like the drain of the like is in the drain. So you have to like take it, go in the kitchen area.
Oh, I just got chills.
Take it from the drain. No, the worst part is they put perfectly a window on top of like in front of the kitchen area. So you purposely have to like look down to pull like the locket out. And then when you look up, the guy with the stranger mask is right there.
No. See, that's like next level. That's more of a haunted. I would argue that's more of a haunted house. That's like an amalgamation.
But we had to escape. So
you have to escape death. You're not escaping a situation. You're escaping a gruesome murder.
It is so crazy. But before we wrap up very quickly, I mean, we kind of established, escapism. This is a popcorn-worthy movie. Like people are gonna have a good time. Mm-hmm. Any other takeaways you hope people get when they watch the Escape the Field, Jordan?
I think just the what really struck me when I read the role and read the script was just like there's something so pure about human beings when they're put in a situation where they have to survive and rely on themselves and rely on each other. No, we don't have our phones. We're torn out of this life where everything is at a fingerprint away or whatever. Like we're just reduced to the very human instincts. And I think there's something really beautiful about seeing human beings working together and like all wanting to survive.
100%.
The will to survive. That's like we have so much more conviction and strength and ability than we often realize we have. And so I guess the resilience piece of it is there with the character driven nature of it.
100%. And one quick Umbrella Academy question before we go. What was that kind of moment where you were like, whether it was like a social media interaction or something from your agent or your manager, when did it kind of start sinking in like, wow, this is massive? Do you remember something about that quickly?
I do. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember the exact moment. It was when, so we started shooting the first season in the January of 2018, I think it was. And so I booked it in like November 2017. And then they flew us out in December for a week before Christmas just to kind of meet each other, do table reads. And when I walked in the room, I just remember being like, oh, shit, this is, you know, it was a room just filled with all of these actors, you know, Elliot Page, who I have had on my vision board for years.
Yeah.
Never told him that. That's embarrassing. Yeah. And then like, you know, like Tom Hopper, and you got Colm Feore, and you've got like such an incredible, talented group of people in one room, and then meeting the director and meeting their showrunner, Steve Blackman, and just hearing about their expectations for the show and the fact that where they wanted to take it. It was like, we all kind of were looking at each other being like, oh, this is special. This is something special.
100%. No. And I love that show, and it's so cool. I just love and I love that I knew about the graphic novel, and I remember being like one of those guys that knew it was the graphic novel. Like a lot of people don't know that they're adapted, right? Yeah.
Don't.
But I knew, and that was a cool moment.
Wow. You're like an OG. You're an OG Umbrella Academy.
MCR is like one of my favorite bands of all time, right?
Yes,
so I know about all of that. This was a blast. Thank you so much for your time. It was great that we were able to do this.
This was so much fun. It was great to chat.
Yeah, May 6th, Escape the Field. They're going to be able to check it out. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything? Instagram?
Oh, yeah, Instagram. I'm such a grandma. I should go on TikTok, but I'm slightly afraid of it. You'll probably never see me again. I'll just be like, lose myself. So Instagram is where it's at. Jordan Claire Robbins.
Amazing. This has been Pop Turner, youtube.com/Pop Turner for previous episodes. Until next time, it's Jordan Claire Robbins and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.